Now we know what problems we have, where they come from. What do we do about it? Well, many people around here are familiar with Venus Project. Some of you might not be. So for that reason, I would like to introduce you to the Venus Project. Or better say, not myself, because I've been speaking to it already. And so I brought someone here that is working with us. He was introduced to the Venus Project in 2013. He's an active point of contact for the activists in Florida since 2015. He has an extensive background in healthcare and medical, and he represented the Venus Project in several events. Let me just get it right. He had 2 streams of Paradise of Oblivion, including in events. He also represented the Venus Project at the Science Festival in St. Petersburg. And I want to give him the stage to introduce the Venus Project to you. Welcome, Mike Ziaja.
That was close enough. Thanks, Sven. I want to thank you all for being here, first of all. So imagine being stuck on an island with millions of dollars. That sounds pretty good, doesn't it? Well, unless you had the food, water, and material to build a shelter, you'd be destined for failure. So the real question isn't, do we have enough money? The real question is, do we have enough resources? Today, we know that money is used to create artificial scarcity. An example of this would be with food. In 1933, the U.S. government passed the Agricultural Adjustment Act. This law literally paid farmers to destroy surplus crops and reduce production, all during the Great Depression, when Americans were struggling to put food on the table. Similar practices continue today. Humanity has struggled with scarcity since our humble beginnings. We've always lived without enough. So there's always been a reason to steal, and there's always been a reason for corruption. The root cause of most problems today is a lack of access to resources. In the monetary system today, abundance is the enemy and scarcity is the goal. That's where we're backward. A fundamental goal of society should be to create abundance and eliminate scarcity for everyone. Money inevitably came into existence as it became too difficult to determine what was a fair exchange. Money inevitably came to existence as it became too difficult to determine what was a fair exchange. So imagine, how many chickens and how many tomatoes does this house cost? And then you'd be walking up to the house with chickens and tomatoes. You look pretty ridiculous, right? So, money is an extremely manipulative and destructive creation of man. It is doing far more harm than good, and it has been for quite some time. Imagine every aspect of your life today without science and technology. On a daily basis, we use cell phones, cars, planes, the internet, medications. The list goes on and on. Today, your cell phone has more processing power than the computers used to send man to the moon. It's pretty amazing. It's not lawyers, bankers, politicians, or Wall Street that make our lives better. These people don't know how to create environmentally friendly infrastructures. They don't know how to end world hunger. It's the scientists who find cures for diseases. It's the engineers who automate us out of these boring and repetitive jobs. These are the people that make our lives better. They always have been. Now imagine living in a world where science and technology were truly unleashed from monetary restraint. How wonderful could that be? A helicopter can be used to kill hundreds of people, or it can be used to save them. Nuclear energy to power a city or to destroy it. These tools are only as good or bad as the motive behind their use. With the technological capabilities of today, we have the capability to create a world of abundance and eliminate scarcity altogether. In the monetary system, machines will be preferred because they're cheaper. They don't need breaks, vacation, or sick time. Plainly put, they're far more productive. And like it or not, automation is here to stay. An example of this would be in manufacturing. Many facilities are nearly or fully automated at this time. This is what's known as lights out manufacturing. There's no need to illuminate a building when there's no people involved. It's even in the service sector now, automation. Examples of this include online shopping. I'm sure you've seen the self-checkout, drone deliveries, and self-driving cars. If you think taxi drivers don't like Uber and Lyft, imagine what they're going to do when automatic taxis hit the streets. They'll be left out of a job, unemployed. So robots hold more money. They certainly won't know what to do with it. So how are we supposed to purchase all these wonderful automated goods? Well, ironically, without money, we will be able to produce far more in a far more efficient manner. So if we have the automated factories, and we have the technology, and we have the resources, couldn't we look at phasing out money altogether? This is a small example of how inefficient our current system is. We still practice planned obsolescence, better known as the conscious withdrawal of efficiency. Today, companies create products that break and wear down after a certain time. They have to. Think about it, otherwise they go out of business. You gotta buy the next model. You gotta meet that profit margin. This, of course, is extremely wasteful and inefficient. So the Venus Project and the concept of a resource-based economy is the life's work of a man named Jacque Fresco. He resides in Venus, Florida, with his associate, Roxanne Meadows. He's been working on these concepts for the last 85 years. His inspiration for the Venus Project was living through the Great Depression. At a very young age, he couldn't understand how goods and services were still available, but people didn't have the purchasing power to buy them. He understood that the rules of the game we play by are obsolete. This is an example of a Venus Project city within a resource-based economy. Starting with the central dome, this would house a master computer that would essentially function as the government of the city, without vested interests. Its primary responsibility would be management and distribution of goods, services, and resources for residents. Does it frighten you to imagine living in a city where a machine has primary control over your well-being? Well, it shouldn't. Have you ever been in an airplane that's landed in severe weather or severe fog? This was done by an automated setting of the aircraft. Have you ever been to an intensive care unit of a hospital where someone is literally being kept alive by machines? We have to be careful not to project what Hollywood portrays into reality. We have to be careful not to project our personal opinions or emotions into machines. They will do exactly what they're programmed to do, nothing more. Now you take Jacque's city design and you put it on a global scale. Imagine an integrated web of sensors all around the world, capable of detecting a natural disaster occurring in New Zealand. Instead of international panels arguing about how to fund and how to act, you have special contingency teams ready to act when necessary. You have excess food and water stored in the North and South Pole. You have emergent floating hospitals strategically placed around the globe, ready for deployment whenever needed. The goal of a resource-based economy is to have what is needed, when it's needed, where it's needed, 100% of the time. This may sound far-fetched, but it is possible. Moving on to the smaller domes surrounding the central dome. These would act as theme centers, where residents could go for music, theater, art, dancing, and countless other activities. Additionally, they would function as access centers, which would be very much like a public library, where residents could check out a musical instrument or a bicycle, for example, for as long as they like, without a price tag. You'll notice a lot of lush greenery within the cities. In the Venus Project, we understand that we are part of nature and not separate from it. The larger buildings in the photo will be used for design and research, tasked with solving global issues as well as local ones. Homes will be built using prefabricated extrusions and contour crafting. These homes will generate their own energy, recycle their own waste, and require minimum maintenance. Others may choose to live in skyscrapers or apartments. These areas would have a very resident, community-like feel to them. You could attend a local dining facility. They would include child care centers, healthcare centers, entertainment, and organized groups for residents. Energy and the powering of future cities will be based on their location. Options include solar, wind, tidal, and geothermal energy, among many others. Without worrying about cost, we could truly look at alternative energies and implement them. The practice of polluting and pillaging the earth for fossil fuels has long been obsolete. Now we move on to the agricultural belt of the city. Here, food would be grown hydroponically and aeroponically. It would be organic. It would be grown indoors and outdoors as well. This would reduce the need to transport food between cities. Today's monetary system is so inefficient, we actually transport food in from all around the world. Imagine potatoes from Poland if you live in Uruguay. It's insane. The circular belt of water surrounding the city would be used for irrigation, drinking, and filtration. The outskirts of the city would house additional recreational areas for golf, hiking, biking trails, running trails, etc. Transportation between cities would be with maglev trains. Within the cities, electronically operated transfers would transport residents both horizontally and vertically. So the real question isn't, do we have the money? The real question is, do we have enough resources? And the answer is yes, if we manage it intelligently. We all need the same things: clean air, water, food, shelter, and a relevant education to thrive. This is what a resource-based economy offers. This is missing a slide, but that's okay. We must eventually learn to declare the earth and all its resources as the common heritage of all the earth's people. Nations must learn to band together and work cooperatively to make the world a better place. There is no other way. We also must learn to operate within the carrying capacity of the earth. If we exceed that, we'll have the same list of problems we do today, including war, poverty, and corruption. Today, most people work a full-time job they despise, just to make ends meet. They're so flattened out by the monetary economy, it robs them of their free time and their potential. Today, we're constantly bombarded by advertisements that perpetuate consumerism with no regard for the environmental impact. This is an unsustainable practice, and it must be phased out. Okay, there's another slide missing, but that's okay. So in the monetary system, the goal is to acquire property, wealth, and material. In a resource-based economy, the goal is to contribute to society and make the world a better place for everyone. Most problems today stem from a poor management and distribution of resources. In a resource-based economy, everything will be upgradable, recyclable, and durable whenever possible. We need intelligent management and distribution of resources on a global scale. This is what a resource-based economy provides. A resource-based economy provides cooperation instead of competition, abundance instead of scarcity, equal access instead of profit, and humanity instead of money. Let's allow scientists and engineers to solve the dire global issues. Let's allow them to create a world beyond politics, poverty, and war. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.